Hey guys, Frizzy Brony here, and now we have hit that moment. I'm following the American release schedule, so with this episode 13, I believe this is the hiatus. All of the things on Equestria Daily have basically been saying this is now the hiatus point, and oh my days, they left it on such... I don't know how to quantify this, whether it's a fantastic episode, a great episode, or just an unnecessary episode. It's so weird, but it's got one of the best premises. I love it when we have episodes that just focus on the princesses doing normal things. Because at the end of the day, they are just ponies like the rest. Yes, they might live long and they have the responsibility, but they are still ponies. They still want to do things. And so this episode was just a treat, seeing them being sisters. It's a great feeling, and well, the episode starts off so weird. I mean, it throws us right into the action. From the get-go, we've got the main six doing their thing, fighting this big creature that we've never seen before. I think it was called the Snap Turtle? Something like that. Fluttershy says its names a couple of times, but it's just rampaging around Sweet Apple Acres and causing all types of havoc.
Remind me how this happened again?
What the hell is that?
My family's entire summer crop.
Oh dear.
That's the wall turtle.
Snap said he was hungry, but he promised me he would only take a few small bites.
So we see it following the usual formula. Main six comes up, getting a little bit of a pinch, formulate a plan, and boom, execute it. Problem solved. Only this time, Spike gets in a little bit more trouble than he bargained for.
This is weird, and Spike's dead.
No, I mean, this is a pretty fantastic intro. Right off the bat, we're thrown into action. We got the girls doing their thing, which is something we haven't seen in a little while. But that's all cut short. We break from the norm. This is all just foreplay for the main event, because we just hit hard with the entrance of these two.
And now a simple teleportation spell should...
Pause, interloper!
Wait.
Stay back.
Ho!
My sister and I will take care of the beast.
Okay, that lighting was pretty sweet.
Yep, Celestia and Luna doing their best superhero impressions as they just swoop in to save the day. And rightly so, the girls have a little bit of a question.
All the times we've
What are they
actually
doing?
needed their help, and they show up for this?
Thank you, Rainbow Dash.
Rainbow Dash just hitting the nail on the head there. In all of the previous seasons, why have they not been doing this, and why is it now that they come out? Obviously, they do reference it, that because of what happened during the premiere with the whole Everfree Forest, it got them wanting to experience life outside the castle, which is fine. But it might come as a little bit of ire to the main six, as when they're going about their day-to-day lives, it seems the princesses might be a bit too eager to intervene.
And I forgot to make the order.
No biggie.
Students going hungry? Not on our watch.
Let
Let us bake, sister.
Let us bake. We must bake.
Just them breaking through Sugar Cube Corner's wall to just say, it's time to bake. That is just such a weird line, but it's something that they take to heart. But we find that this has pretty much been a bit of consternation for the main six, as they have a little meeting to discuss what's happening.
Oh, but suddenly Celestia and Luna seem to think we can't do anything on our own. How are we supposed
this
to learn
is
to be rulers
fantastic.
of Equestria with them fixing every teensy problem for us?
And it all seems to be going so well. And then...
A strategy meeting.
Oh no.
What is the danger this time? A rampaging beast? Evil spell? Friendship problem?
Oh,
We're
what is
ready
up with
to
their
do whatever we
faces?
Great.
Their faces are so weird this episode.
Wrong.
They're just so eager to get stuck in with the rest of the girls. It's kind of scary in a way to think that they could have been doing this all the time and they've had this all just built up and festering away. But Twilight and the girls managed to put on their best charming faces and convince them that maybe rather than saving Equestria, they should just try being regular ponies, individuals, and go maybe on a vacation, do some mundane things, which, to be fair, the sisters go absolutely mad for.
What an intriguing idea. Only it's much harder to justify a vacation from the castle when it's not an emergency we're responding to.
Now it seems things are all well and good. The two sisters are getting all giggly and doing the whole sisterly thing, which is nice to see. But that slight hint that something might be amiss peeks its head right at the beginning when we see what their idea of a getaway would entail.
Fun
We're gonna
not
see.
yet had. I can't wait to start planning our time off. A chance to do whatever we want. And you know what that means. Relaxation.
Yeah, they lay it out pretty bare. Luna wants to just relax and chill, and Celestia is more of the thrill seeker. So you know eventually they're going to butt heads. But for now, we see them leave the princessy jobs to the main six, giving Twilight a small little amulet to allow her to do the moon and sun control, and that there are a few duties that need to be taken care of while away. And I've got to say, just the outfits that the two sisters are wearing is absolutely adorable. Having their hair tied back, having the Hawaiian shirts on, it's just too cute.
And here are instructions of how
have
to
they done?
prepare for the
They've done
royal
ponytails.
swaddling.
They actually tied their hair
I'm
up.
sure we can handle it. Have fun.
One
That
more
is
thing.
adorable.
We're leaving you in charge of raising the sun and moon while we're gone.
Oh, that's so cute. Didn't even know that's
We'll put a
possible.
small part of our power in this amulet.
So we see them embark on the first leg of their journey, and I've got to say, so far this season has been very sparing on the songs and the musical numbers, but when it's given them to us, they've, for the most part, been really good ones. This one is no exception. I'll have to find out a full version of it later without the breaks in between, but it and the reprise a little bit later is just so charming. When you listen to the lyrics and the visuals, there are so many cameos and references that go by in the montage sequences. We see Discord just strolling around, we see Gilda back again, we see all of the little locations like Yakistan and Appaloosa appear in backgrounds. It's just fantastic. It's sensory overload when you're there trying to spot every little one. But it is a genuinely beautiful song as well.
Oh, jeez, there are actually so many cameos there.
Pony knows you like your little sister. No pony is a better confidant. No pony is truer than the one you are.
They are such
No
dorks.
pony else here I could want.
Now, once again within the song, there are little hints from Luna that she's a bit more on the I'm being dragged along for the ride kind of thing, and you see that Celestia is the one taking point on it.
That was
So
not
let's
Spitfire.
take another hill. Sometimes you can be a pill. And why's the way ahead always so steep?
And it is nice to see them doing their little bits in the park, doing the whole sightseeing thing of holding up a statue. It's just great to see, and there are so many bits about this song I could talk about, but then I'd be here for about 40 minutes, and I know you don't want to sit there through that. So we do cut back to the castle, where we see the main six starting to make their preparations for the swan ceremony, which always gets giggled. Plus, we get Fancy Pants back, which is always a good thing, because it's Fancy Pants, and might I say, he has a fantastic moustache.
I say, how irregular. Well then, we offer our assistance as heads of the Royal Swanifying Committee.
What a relief!
We must
Thank you.
don
We have it all
our
covered.
lovely...
Really?
Yes.
Well, good luck with that.
It's not attached, so it keeps falling out. Ah, well.
So we do see that things aren't going quite to plan back at the castle, as they really have no idea what they're doing for this ceremony or what they need to do to plan for it. But they're basically the B-side of this story. We don't really want to focus on them too much, so we get rapidly back to the sisters doing their things, and there's so much that happens, I forget the order of them. As I say, I do this right after watching it, so we see them doing all these things, including Celestia's ziplining.
Exactly what I was thinking.
love them.
It's just so good seeing her get so excited and act so childishly. Because all the public around them, we see it in multiple clips, the public are watching, taking photos, fainting. It's gorgeous to see them just oblivious to it. And the mugs, come on. You've got to get the commemorative mug. Your face is emblazoned on it forever. And they ain't the prettiest.
Now, every time we have tea, we can remember this magical day.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
But we do see that Luna is getting gradually more and more just kind of worn down. She's wanting to do her little relaxing things. And I've got to say, she might be a little bit weird in her taste, but she definitely is the pony of more culture. She's definitely the one who wants to do the literature side, the art gallery side, the opera side.
It's the
Derpy!
post office!
What?
Indeed. Just think, all the mail in Ponyville goes through here. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, you dork. I love you.
One stamp, please.
The post office, which doesn't come up in a bit. So we see her trying to talk to Celestia, and Celestia's basically buzzing on the adrenaline.
It's my turn to do the choosing. After river rapid cruising, this adventure isn't too fun to be on.
We cut back to the main six again, and we see that things aren't going well. They're rapidly having the pressures of palace life and what they're meant to be doing, building and building and building upon their shoulders, eventually getting to be a bit too much for them. And although he doesn't outright say it, Fancy Pants is just there in the background being an absolute twaddle. And I'm trying to not say bad words about him, but he is a little bit of a douche. He just sits there and he scoffs, which is Fancy Pants, really. We don't linger with them too much.
Oh dear.
Oh my.
I do hope those aren't the final decorations for the gala.
How rude.
Now, I do apologise if I get the order of these things mixed up. I myself am just buzzing from this episode. It was so good to see. But we do go back to the sisters and, well, it seems that things aren't all too good, and they do have a little bit of a disagreement, to say the least. And tempers run a little high.
Well, I hope you're enjoying yourself on your super
gross.
relaxing picnic, sister.
I would be if you hadn't made us hike through a million prickle bushes.
We see siblings being siblings. I myself am a single only child, so I have never had to deal with an annoying little sibling that I could just throttle from time to time, or an older sibling who I just want to punch. But I do have many friends who are siblings, and I've seen the way they argue, and this is on point. It basically gets down to who can shout the loudest, which, when you've got Canterlot sisters...
Oh, Jesus.
I like that kind of pressure. Being responsible for every little thing in Equestria and you. What I'd like is a sister I can depend on. Calm down, Luna.
No! And don't you dare use your Canterlot voice on me. I think this adventure would be better if I did it by myself.
Wow.
Fine. I just remembered something I forgot I always
Stop
wanted
shouting!
to be alone.
So here's the conflict and the inevitable breakup of the two doing their own thing. I am a little upset we didn't get to see her just sort of flicker between Nightmare Moon and Luna. I thought when her mane came out, we were going to see her sort of do that little darkening of the skin tone and just sort of like, didn't happen. But either way, seeing them split and get angry was kind of nice. And I know there are lots of things I'm missing about in between. I mentioned it in the blind reactions. I will put them right at the end so you can see everything I thought during the song, their trips, and all the little bits, because there are the alternate outfits that they have, which are just so good. But I can't get off topic. We've seen them split. They're now going to go do their own thing.
Who needs a gloomy sister moping around all the time anyway?
Can't hear you!
Honestly, Princess, didn't you wear any sunblock?
That's a thing? Celestia would have warned me. if she were here.
Only through the course of it they do learn that maybe they are better off putting their differences aside and acting as a unit, as despite the fact that it is nice to spend some time by yourself, they're constantly surrounded by people doing things together, and I will admit, doing things with someone is a lot nicer than doing it yourself. It's nice to do it by yourself, but if you've got the chance to do it with someone and share the experience, that is a lot more fulfilling, as Celestia and Luna do find out.
Oh, I thought climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was on my list.
Kilimanjaro?
I just wanted to
Really?
watch the sunrise.
I'm here for the moonset. So, how did the rest of your day go?
Tell you what, she's
amazing.
recovered from sunburn amazingly well.
Fantastic. Best ever, really.
Yeah, me too.
You can walk with me, you know, if you want. I mean,
Oh, well, since we're going the same way.
Stop being like an old married couple, your sisters.
We can't dwell on that for too long though, because we do swap back to the castle to see the main six still struggling with the preparations for the swan ceremony. Basically the swans are overrunning the palace. There's absolute chaos outside without Discord's intervention, as there's a strike happening, there's construction that's not happening. It all just builds up to this head where Fancy Pants steps in and basically has to tell them, which is something you could have said right at the beginning, by the way. Oh yeah, the sisters don't do the planning themselves, they leave it up to the committee. Let us do it. And so, we have the moment in the story where the main six have their little crisis solved, and we see them run around and do their little delegation bits, and they learn that the princesses pretty much just do that, delegate. They don't do much themselves, which is why we can see why they got so active when they were allowed to actually leave the palace and do something.
Yes.
Oh, how droll.
Yeah, yes.
What's the funny part
Haha.
exactly?
The princesses never do all the ceremony planning by themselves.
They don't?
Goodness, no. That's what the gala planning committees are for. No pony could handle all this.
Oh days, if I shaved,
those
not shaved.
Sequins?
Still rude.
Speaking of the princesses, we do return to them after finding out that Celestia is actually afraid of chickens, which is something that we can add to her character profile. She is afraid of chickens. The two seem to be taking a little stroll and they bump into each other just by coincidence. And we have to have that awkward little moment of, I want to say sorry, but I'm not going to say sorry, but you say it first, but no, I want to say it first. It's sisters being sisters, and it is a genuinely nice scene to see. They're reconciling their differences, and I might have had a more... I don't know what the word is. Some people might not have had such a strong reaction to one particular moment. But just the idea that they were going to the same place, despite having their indifferences, not knowing the other one was going to be there, specifically because one wanted to see moon set, and one of them wanted to see sun rise. And it was obviously Celestia wanted to see the moon set, Luna wanted to see the sun rise. And I just thought that moment was just so nice. Because it's like, even if they don't want to actively say it, subconsciously, they're taking part in the other siblings' activity. So we see them have their reconciliation, and it plays out beautifully.
I'm sorry I said those things before. Sometimes it's just tough being the little sister.
It's not always easy being the big sister either. I'm sorry too.
Ah.
The sun and the moon together? At the same time?
Now where have I seen that before?
Although, of course, nothing can go completely smoothly, and although the reconciliation is fairly seamless, the two sisters notice something is a little bit awry.
Oh god.
Way to go, Twilight. You've absolutely ruined the balance of the sun and the moon. But don't worry, I'm sure she can handle it.
Oh, that's some nice work.
You think maybe Twilight's having trouble with the amulet?
We should probably go help her.
Okay, I think I got it. Sunburst says we just need to reset the amulet with this. Turn the screw on the back. And no more than 1/2 turn.
Now, I was assuming that there was going to be a scene at the end where they return, they have a chat, and the main six would learn something. But no, we basically end on Celestia and Luna having a disappointing end to their little vacation. They look so done as they just say, we've got to go back and help her, should we? Yeah, come on. Then they just fly back. It's such a beautiful way because it just shows them going. The sun and the moon are still going crazy in the background. And I love it. It just ends.
Does any pony have some tape?
That is it. That is the end of the episode. We don't see how Twilight reacts to them coming back. We don't see what their reaction was to the party that happened. We don't see anything. We just see the sisters kind of reconcile, and it's like, should we just go back? Yeah, let's do it. And they fly. Brilliant way to end it because it subverts the expectation that you think something else was going to happen. And all in all, if that is how we're going to leave it off for the hiatus, I know in other countries they've had the episodes leaked, and I'm not going to watch them. I'm going to wait for the American ones to resume. That episode was just... I've been saying it with these standalone episodes, we need to keep upping the ante. And we've been having decent episodes, but no substance to them. Or if there is substance, like last week's, it's a little too late. But this genuinely has that cause and effect. And it's not as if it's a standalone episode as well. Because one, this is now the midpoint, and we've seen that the sisters are actively engaging with each other. They're doing more. They're being more of a presence rather than, as they say, sitting in a throne room all day. And it calls back to the premiere because they directly reference the whole getting out there and assisting with the Everfree Forest, which ties this episode in with the canon story that's been going through the series. If you take out the standalone episodes, so you've got the premiere, the two-parter there, then you've got the episode with the villains, and now there's this one. And so I'll be looking forward to seeing what we get when we come back after the hiatus, whether it's going to pick up with another story one, or if it's going to be just a pure standalone. Now, the pros and cons of this episode. Cons, I don't think there are too many. In fact, I might be a bit biased. I couldn't find any, really. It may have gone a little quickly, but it's an episode. It's 21 minutes, so what can you do? The pros, visuals are stunning. The lighting effect when Luna and Celestia enter the scene and they've got the dramatic lighting behind them looks gorgeous. When they're sat there with the resolution of their conflict and you see the sun and moon going and you see the shadow playing off of them, that too is just an attention to detail that they could have left out, but it looks so good. The faces can be a little bit jarring sometimes, especially when they try and do the whole main six doing the cutesy thing with the movie faces really squished. But the one set of faces and animations that sold it were Luna on the bed when they're planning their trip, just looking like a teenager. Their outfits when they're wearing the Hawaiian ones, the fact that they had their manes tied back and without tiaras was a nice little change to the model, if you would. The looks when Luna goes pure 80s and Celestia goes gothic, those looked so good, and I love the fact that it showed a little bit of hidden personality of the two of them. And also Celestia's face during the song when they're on the peach cart. Just that little angle where she's talking about things being peachy, it just looks so adorable. There are plenty more, but as I say, I'd be here for 40 odd minutes. I don't want to be biased about it, but I honestly, out of 10, I want to give this episode a rating of... I'm just going to do it, 9. It's going to get a 9 from me. It's not perfect, but it's not standalone, and it's not useless, because I have a feeling this is going to play into the finale in some way, which I hope it does. My rating may change, but right now I'm punching it in. This episode gets a solid 9 out of 10. I loved it. The song was fantastic. The reprise was fantastic. The interactions between Luna and Celestia was so fantastically believable for siblings. It was just a good episode. if anything, I will say the downside was actually focusing as much as we did on the main 6. I think this episode could have just done without them entirely. That way we could have had more time with Celestia and Luna. But let me know what you thought, guys. Down in the comments below, tell me things you noticed. Tell me things that you wanted to be in the episode. Tell me what you thought this was out of 10. And until we come back from the hiatus or I do another video in between, bye-bye. Actually, I just said bye-bye. But I will say there probably will be more videos before the hiatus ends, depending on how long it is, because we are pretty much at the end of June doing this. So we're just about to go into July, which means GalaCon in pretty much a month's time. So you know that this camera that's filming me right now is going with me, and we're probably going to have another con vlog on our hands. So look forward to that, guys. But until whatever next video I do, this time for real, bonus reactions coming up. Bye-bye.
Aww.
Mr. Tortoise Snap, I'm only asking nicely.
So a tortoise snap.
Let my friend go.
Did she basically just punch it in the nose?
Did some ponies say lost?
Not for long.
Well,
Jesus!
there are way more fun things to do than follow us around. Ooh, you should make a list of all the stuff you never tried.
Ah, they're doing the movie faces. Stop it.
We'll be twinsies.
Oh, the faces are so weird.
Just
Oh,
like regular
jeez.
pony tourists. I knew you'd love it.
Oh,
I
Luna!
have a few things for us too.
Oh, bless her.
Sunglasses, bug spray, ice boots, puff sanitizer,
Bug spray.
snacks.
I thought she said butt spray. I was like, no, 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 no.
So we're gonna be absconding to a little vagabonding, and this bucket list is gonna be a peach.
Okay, that was a cute face.
Pony knows you like
Oh, little bats.
no pony knows you like sister. No pony is a
Hey, wicked.
confidant.
Oh.
Pony is to the one you are. No pony else here I could want.
Oh, bless.
Wait for it.
You didn't need a stamp if you were just going to give this to me.
Yes, but I didn't give it to you. A male pony took it from me.
She's
to find
so
what was meant for her
cute.
and gave it to you. It's
Oh.
a process.
Luna never change.
Princess Twilight.
Ah.
It has come to our attention that you don't intend to serve watercress at the royal swanifying ceremony.
There's not enough in the castle kitchens to...
Don't tell me, tell him.
Oh, jeez. Alright, get ready for him to reappear in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, you got those appetizers yet?
Okay, he's not back yet. Wait, Celestia's afraid of a chicken.
The chickens.
She's afraid of chicks. Okay, that was pretty good. I liked it. I saw my boy Zephyr there in the credits as well. Well, that was an episode.